Aero Pro. What is this? Velcro? Oops, oh, golly! You kids. I'm so glad when you guys show up to hang out. But send me an email or something. Anyhow, since you're here, I got this little palm sander thingy. Well, it doesn't really sound like that, I don't think, but you know. There's some Velcro-y type stuff. Man, I hope it's going to save us some time and not destroy things. Welcome back, Junks Automotive. So here's what we got. A palm sander. I've never owned one of these. So I'm going to say that this isn't something that you should jump right into unless you've sandy a whole lot, like I have. The Cadillac, the first car I did, all my finished sanding, finished blocking was done by hand. DA a little bit here and there, just like on this car. But all the clear coat, the buffing, you know, I used the machine to buff it, but I wet sanded it by hand. And man, it's a job. It'll wear you out and take a long time. So here's what I'm thinking is I'm going to graduate. I'm going to rough it down, probably by hand, with either 1,000 grit or maybe even 400 on some carefully. Then we're going to use 2,000 grit and 3,000 grit with this. I do believe that it's going to be pretty tough to burn through the clear coat into the base coat with 2,000 and 3,000 grit, at least by accident. We catch an edge and stay on the edge too much. We're going to work on keeping things moving and see if this doesn't, you know, save ourselves a bunch of time and a bunch of, I got a bad shoulder, you know. So I'm going to start with a hood, get through all my processes, and I'll show you as we go along. Then I'll go to a fender, or you know, what I don't want to do is scuff it up with 1,000 and then maybe 2,000, and then do the whole car, and then I won't be able to see. I may not be able to see. So each process on each panel, and go from there. So let me get set up. See if we can't figure something out with this thing. It's I got it from TCI, I believe, is the company I get stuff from. Aero Pro, it says, and it was like $63. It comes with the Velcro, so you can buy the wet dry sheets. This is 2,000 grit, and it just sticks right on there like Velcro. Now, what I like about the Velcro is there's a little bit more cushion to say sticky back on a hard piece, because it comes with that. So we can put some sticky back on some 400 or you know, 120 down the road, and we can still use this. I plan on it. Trust me, I plan on wearing this thing out. But it gives a little bit of cushion, and it also, I believe, is going to hold a little bit more water. So let me get set up. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and go on the dangerous side of life. Besides the fact I got the fans turning and running, because I'm old and I'm chubby and I sweat a lot. And I did that all day at work, so I don't want to do it here. 400 on my soft blocks, and all I want to do is knock down the top sides of our orange peelies and all that kind of stuff, right? You can kind of see where I've done it before. I kind of tested out our 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 theory, and it works. But what I want to do is just kind of see if we can't knock it down quickly. I'll get my clean bucket of water over here so I'm not walking back and forth, because these old feet only got so many miles left on them, right? And boy, it was a day at work today. I'll tell you what, guys got to make a living, buddy. I wonder every day, is it worth it? And I was pretty tired, and I thought, man, it is Friday night, so you know. Usually I'd be out here on a Saturday, but I'm playing with the fucking Holler Boys out of town tomorrow, so I've got to get some work done on this car tonight. And like I said, it was pretty tough for me to get off my butt and get out here. But that's what you deal with when you have a project. If you have that one night a week where you can spend some time on your project, it's tough. I know it's hard sometimes to get up off the couch, out in front of the TV, and go do something. Now, if you don't end up working on your project as long as you planned, that's okay. But get out there. Get out there for just a little bit. Give it an hour and see how you feel. Your projects are not going to get done sitting around. Except for when you get to where you just can't. Like I'm going to call him a really good friend. A friend of mine in central Pennsylvania has a 57 Chevrolet project for sale. And I'm going to tell you, it's pretty sweet for what it is. If you guys are interested in it, I'll talk a little bit about it later. Show you a few pictures. And if you get a hold of me, if you're that interested, I'll tell you how to get a hold of him. But he just can't get out and do it anymore for health reasons. And that's the really sad part, because I know how bad he wants to, but he can't. So if you're able-bodied and you can, there ain't no excuse. Just like I told myself out there today, no excuses. Tired don't mean nothing. Tired means I work hard. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like after the real quick. You saw how long that took. 400. Got a couple little blemishes going on. Now what I don't want to do when I have a little spot like that, I don't want to dig at it. I can barely feel it. It's more of an innie than it is an outie. I'm going to leave it alone. If I dig at it, then I'll have a spot like that you'll be able to see a wave. I know, it's not a show car, but I want to do the best I can with what I got, just like you kids would. So that took no time, really. And I can see a little bit of dark spots still, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop with the 400, because that took no time. That was pretty easy. So you're probably going to hear the air compressor kick on, and I hate to tell you, that's just real life. If I had 3 or 4 days to make one video, I shut the compressor off and make sure the sound was all good. But hey, we aren't here to be flashy. So I'm just going to take this right here and just dip it down in the water a little bit and spin it, get it wet. Then I got my little sponge block. I can add the water to it. Doesn't take that much water. And I could probably soak these pads in the water as well. Now this is 2000 grit on top of that 400. So let's see what it does. I've got it set to 90 psi is what's designated for this foam sander. And it also has a little trigger that I can change my air pressure from here. We don't want to go crazy. I want to keep it moving. I don't want to stay on one place. I want to keep it flat. Don't go like that. Don't go like that. We're going to dig places into our clear. I'm just using light pressure. I'm not pushing real hard. Keep it wet. Get around those edges, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Get that dried off, see what that looks like. Again, this is 2000 grit after I knocked it down with 400. Now someone had commented on the last one, said, yeah, I get really rough places. I'm not scared to use 400. And that's a good idea. Save you some time and some effort, but like I said, if it's your first time doing this, keep it on a conservative side. Don't get aggressive. What I don't want to do is have to repaint or re-clear this car. We got plenty of clear on it, we should be fine, but if I get too crazy, now there's no orange peel there. I got a couple little spots. Again, I'm not going to mess with them. A little bit of orange peel right here, a little bit on the edge. Again, we're not going to worry about our edges too much. We're going to run the buffer over them and it'll polish up. If there's a little bit of orange peel there, this is not a show car. So now, I'm going to switch over to, I've got orange peel left on this side that I've done before, but see, I didn't use 400 on this first. I did the 2,000. All I did, I went 2,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 on that side, and I still have orange peel. But that 4,000 or that 400 knocked it right down quick. So as we're going, we're learning. Man, that's the way to go. So let me get you off here, and I'll show you what it looks before I go to the 2,000 or the 3,000. See, I'm confused. I'm easily confused, kids. And like I said, might be able to see. There you go. Got a little spot right there. Another little spot right there. I'm going to leave those alone. We have yet to go with our 3,000 grit. Well, this is 400 really quickly, and then 2,000. And you can see this is kind of what the hood looked like all over it. Okay. Now the side that I didn't do 400 first, see all that? We need to get all that out. Again, on the edges, I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the edge here, but I'm trying not to see it. You can see all the orange peel still in it. That's because I didn't go over this with 400. This half I did, and this half I didn't. You can still see orange peel in it. Okay? So I'll tell you what. We'll get this other half, the same process. Go over quick with 400, and know I've already done it. Quick with 400, very lightly, 2,000, and then I'll 3,000 this whole hood. And then I'll show you. Tell you what, this is the way to go. That's quick 400, and then you saw how I did the other side with the 2,000. Huh? See on the edges? Like I said, I'm not too concerned. We'll get those a little bit with the 3,000. I don't want to burn through. So you can go aggressive with your grits, but you got to be careful. That's just a little bit of dust. And somebody else had commented as well that once they sand everything, they wash it down, which is a very good point, because all this clear you're sanding off, the residue, that residue is going to be abrasive. We want to control the abrasiveness. Make sense? Let me get set up, and I'll have you guys and girls to watch me 3,000 this in one heartbeat, or 2 or 3. Got the 3,000 on. It's a good thing it's colored different for old junk box to make a mistake. So I'm just going to do it in a pattern, do little sections, and I'm going to go up and down, then back and forth, and move on. When I get to my edges and I want to lean into them just a tad, I'll let off that trigger. Camera almost doesn't want to focus on that, but still a little bit on the edges. Like I said, we're going to roll off these edges with the buffer, and I'm not going to worry about that. Most of our little spots, I think I see remnants of one, and you almost can't see it. By the time we buff this out, it's just going to gleam like a emerald. Or emerald's green. Yeah. Anyhow. All right. here's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to start on the body portion around the hood, do the same exact process. Then I'll move to the fenders and the doors. Okay? There we go. I'm going to turn you back on when we take care of some of that. Right? Then there's a spot over here. Dry. It's dry. So there's plenty of clear on there, but it's just the last coat was dry. And I think there's some over here somewhere. You know, again, this car didn't look bad the way it started. And for a driver, we could just leave it alone. But I really want this thing to look good. Sitting in the parking lot, Ralph takes us to the pub, or throws his mandolin and guitar and a couple things in the trunk and go to play the gig. You know, I want it to look good. All right, I'll turn you back on. Alright kids, see the nibs here. A little bit of trashy trash. All I do, 400 with my hard block. You want to definitely do a hard block with this one, right? If I can get a finger on it. Do it left-handed. See, yeah, right there. Keep it flat, steady pressure. There's another one right there. It's kind of hard to get that one right there, but we can get her. Couple little ones right there. You don't do too much of this, but it's going to knock that out real quick. We'll go ahead and give her a go. There we go. And you want to fade it out, all right? You don't want some little divot and get down to your. So there you go. Trust me, that's gone. Top of this fender, it's a little bit rough. That one turned out quite a bit nicer. Something happened over here. Fans, blow stuffy in the clear coat. I don't know. We did have a problem in the middle of the paint job, but if you see right there, then of course we got a couple little nibs. Let's see if we can get you to see that one. Right there. There's nib or two over here. Another nib or two over here. Now knowing that I had problems over here, I did load up the clear. That's why you see the orange peel, right? I'll get you set up and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with it. Hard block and the 400. Okay, fresh, nice piece, been soaking. All I want to do, this is round. We don't want to do much of this. If we do, it's very, very, very little. Now I've noticed too, if you have too much water, that water sort of hydroplanes across things and it doesn't really want to sand real good or as easy. I'll cross my little nibs. And if I'm worried about burning through the clear, you leave it. Just leave it. You don't want to go doing something like this on a car that you didn't paint, that you don't know has a lot of clear. You're better off just getting a buffer, spiff it up, and leave it alone. Because you'll burn through if you don't know. Like I'll have a couple little divots right here. I highly doubt I'll be able to get them out without burning through the clear. And I'm going to stay on the safe side. That's what I'm going to do. I can shine it up with a little bit of water and I can see the ripples without drying it up, and waiting for it to dry and all that stuff. Because that water is acting like a clear coat. It's making it shiny and I can see it. And this 400 is going to act, it's going to grind that off really fast. So I don't really need to go till it's totally gone, except for maybe my nibs. And leaving a little bit of that is safer, because I'm going to go over it with 2,000 and then 3,000. By the time we get done, it'll just about be gone. Again, not a show car. This car is going to be driven and parked in a barn. So, if you wanted to, you could work on this forever, make it what you want. I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it. And there we go. Now you'll see like that right there? Little shiny spot there. You remember how it looked? That's 300 times better. I'm gonna leave that alone. By the time we get the 2,000 to 3,000 over it, if there's a little tiny spot, who cares? So I'm just gonna go on and do everything else with my 400. So it's a little bit rough in here, but I don't want to get down in here that I can't get the buffer on it. And yeah, you can take these fenders off, take all the body panels off, do all that, and by the time you put them on here, they're going to get nicked up and tore up, and you're fixing stuff anyway. So we get this fender done, this door done, let's get some more stuff done on the 400. Let's get the buffing. Man, we might actually get this thing done tonight. Scuba Steve dropped by with his new jalopy. Straight 6. Sounds like a sewing machine.
Bring on the tree.
Pretty sweet old ride for a Ford.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Hold on a second, Mike, I'll show you something. Keep your camera pointed in here.
AM radio. Oh yeah. Can't beat that.
Plate?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty straight for,
58 years old.
I dig the hubcaps. Yeah. Like I said, I leave it just like this, put a 429 in it, maybe even build a 460 and leave it just like this. Sleeper, screamer.
That would be a good sleeper, wouldn't it?
Yep. Yep, smells like an old car. Say bye, Scuba.
Peace out.
We got her all down to 3,000. And, you know, I did notice the places that I did 400, it took a lot for the 2,000 and 3,000 to get the 400 grit scratches out. So I did go over it with 1,000 by hand. And then 2,000, and then 3,000. I washed it off. You see it's still a little bit wet. I'm not too worried about it getting totally dry. But you can see the difference from the back to here. So be really careful with that 400 grit idea. Just be gentle. Again, I know that I have a lot of clear on here, so I could kind of go at it. But then, like I said, the problem is the 400 scratches, you'll have to get them out. So if you do that, I would say get you some 600, go over that, then 1,000, and then, you know, let's get to buffing and see how it turns out. Well, as luck would have it, I didn't order my buffing compound that I like, so we're going to try this. Meguiar's Mirror Glaze Medium Cut Cleaner. So it's got a little arrow on it. Down here's light cut, up here's heavy cut. Well, we're going to go about, you know, let's just give it a shot. See what it does. If it don't work, I guess we'll be done for the night. Smells like rubbing compound. This is the rough polishing pad, or coarse, so it's not going to look real pretty. Till we work our other stages. There we go. It'll get there. It does buff quite a bit easier with that 3000 grit. but I see scratches in it. I bet that's that 400. It might take some serious buffing to get that out. All right, let me think about this.